to all of you for taking the time to be in here. I want to thank Brad and his wife Liz. Thank you for hosting and for opening this ranch for us. Thank you so much. Let's give them a round of applause. And obviously the young people that have worked very hard, and there's a lot of folks behind the scenes, and I also want to extend my gratitude to them, so thank you so much. And also I want to thank Gene. Thank you for having your band here, and thank you for entertaining us tonight. Thank you so much. And I also like to say thank you to all of you, and I also want to extend my gratitude to Assemblywoman Shannon Grove. And you know, yes, a round of applause for Shannon Grove. And I know that many of you are here tonight because you supported Shannon, and Shannon has asked you to be here in support of me, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm also thankful because, you know, the first time I ran, back in 2012 when I ran the primary, it seemed impossible. And it's so easy to take on the side that you think it's going to win, where all the powers have aligned. And Shannon Grove was there with me. We overcame that primary, and she was with me when I ran against Rudy Salas, and she is with me now again. Even though sometimes the powers don't add up, she's the kind of woman that she takes the odds. And I know that she's working very hard in Sacramento, and for that I thank you, Shannon. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You know, this journey, as you know, last time when we ran in 2012, we came very close to winning that election. It was a presidential election. In this district, Rudy Salas had 20 points in his favor in terms of Democrat registration. He outspent us 2-1. And plus, beginning on mid-July, he launched a barrage of negative attacks against us. Many of those attacks were unnecessary, were untruthful. And yet, with all those things, he won by a small percentage. Of the targeted seats in the entire state of California, we were the ones that came closest to winning. And so I'm very grateful that you are giving me a second opportunity to unseat Rudy Salas, and I believe that we can do it. Why? Thank you. This year is a non-presidential election. Plus, Rudy has a voting record. And now we have a moral compass. We have to have a moral compass. In other words, we don't believe in just saying things or attacking just because we want to win. There has to be a compass. And as you know, we do fear God. And one of the reasons why I'm very motivated about running is California is in the forefront of passing laws that are hurting traditional family values, that are hurting the main principles upon which this country was founded upon. Imagine this. Imagine 10, 15 years from now, a young child, a young little boy, a young little girl, growing up with two parents of the same sex. What confusion. Imagine this further. Now we're becoming so immoral to the point where it's normal to say, you know what, may I buy your womb from you to have my baby? To me, if we continue on that path, it's going to destroy us. Time after time, when we look at history, when we look at great civilizations like the ancient Greeks, the ancient Romans, the ancient Egyptians, here in the Americas, the Mayas, the Aztecs, they were great, but in time they became so immoral that they collapsed. And if we continue on this path, that's where it's going to take us. And that's one of the reasons why I want to go to Sacramento, to oppose these liberal laws that are being passed and that are going to hurt traditional families. We need to keep that strong. And that's what's made America strong, and we need to continue to have that. We need to continue to believe that God is the one that strengthens this great country. There is no other country in the world where people are willing to die to come here. And when I was 9 years old, I arrived in this country. And this country has been so good to me. And listen to this. Daily I'm told of the people that are willing to pay over $50,000 just to cross the border from Mexico here into this country. Why is it? Why? Because America is still the land of opportunity. And we need to keep it that way. We need to continue to go into that route. We cannot continue to change direction. Listen to this. Not too long ago, many of you heard that one of the biggest automakers in Southern California decided to move its production plant down to Texas. Now think about this. Why would a company spend millions of dollars to take their operations to another state? It doesn't make sense, correct? They're going to have to train a new workforce. They're going to have to provide incentives to take their employees with them. They're going to have to move machines. But yet, why are they doing it? Because they figure that it's too hard to continue to do businesses here in California. We talk about job creation. You know, us politicians, government does not create jobs. It is individuals like yourselves that have that spirit, that entrepreneur spirit, that you take the little hard-earned money that you made and you invest it. And in return, little by little, you start creating jobs. When you begin to prosper, when we begin to grow. And there we have the ability to have the American dream come true. And I've lived it. We came to this country with nothing. My two older brothers, they began to work in the farms in Delano, working very hard, earning minimum wage. But you know what? They were wise with their money. They worked hard. And now I can tell you, and I don't say this boasting, but they're wealthy people, successful people. I myself, I had the opportunity to go to school. I went to Cal State Bakersfield. I got my degree. I became a teacher. I earned my administrative credential. I ran in the Delano City Council. And because I wanted to give back to this great country, I joined the military. And I served 8 years faithfully. And I was discharged with honorable discharge. And you know what? This past Monday, listen to this. I bought my second home. My first house, I bought it in Delano. And I bought, through the VA loan administration, I bought another house in Shafter, my second home there. And I was given, because I had served faithfully in the military, they gave me $30,000 towards the cost of this home. It was $130,000, and I got it for $100,000. Isn't that a blessing? And for that, I'm very thankful. So many opportunities. And I tell people, had I stayed in my little village in Mexico, there is no way in the world that I'd be standing right here before you, because we were too poor. And so that's why I want to go to Sacramento, to fight for the American dream, to fight so that all of us can continue to have a bright future. But right now, it doesn't look too good. Listen, the issue of water. I know some of you are into farming. I farmed before. But water affects everybody. And a lot of people, your normal folks, they think water is just a magical thing. You go to your house, the faucet, and you turn it on, and there's water. They don't really understand the process that cities have to go through, municipalities, governments. It's not easy. And right now, we're in a drought. We're in a serious drought. And if we continue with this drought, we're going to be in deeper trouble. But what's the problem? I tell people everywhere I go, I cannot say I'm going to bring you water. Only God has that ability. Only God has the power. Beyond our comprehension, it rises in a special form, and it out of the ocean, and the clouds form, and then it comes here and it rains. No power here on earth can do that. No government, no military might. Only God. But what is the key to it? The key to it is, what do we do when we do have it? It is no different than the money that we have here. I have some credit cards here, and I can go crazy. There are some things that I want really bad, but I know that if I go out there, I'm going to be in deep trouble, because I won't be able to pay my bills. And California has had ample of opportunity to prepare for these droughts, but we haven't done so. In 2009, in 2010, in 2011, we had plenty of rain. And now 2012, 2013, 2 years later, and we are in trouble. Why? Because we have not invested enough in reservoirs, in water storage, underground water storage, and water conservation. We haven't done so. The dams that were built in the 60s, in the 70s, they were made for X number of millions of people living in the state. But guess what? In 2014, that number has more than doubled. So we cannot continue to run that on that same system. That's why, in my view, I will not support this high-speed rail. It doesn't make sense. We are working on to spend $100 billion plus on this train. That, given the numbers, were I to have that project on my own as a businessman, there is no way that I would do it, because we're going to have subsidies from government for many and many years to come. On top of that, we have the drought. Why not take that money and find ways to bring water storage? Why should we? You know, here's the thing that oftentimes we don't think about. We are here only for a certain limited time. Sooner or later, you and I mean, it sounds harsh to say. In fact, Billy Graham once stated that it is, when we think of death, it is natural when we think of others dying, but when it comes to us, we think it's an unnatural thing. But death, it's going to take all of us. But what we do now for the future generations is key. Do we want to leave California? Do we want to leave our children with a lot of debt? Because that's what's going to happen. And so I want to go out there and join Shannon Grove and fight for those principles, conservative principles, godly principles, honesty, integrity. I can do the job. I came very close to winning last time. And I tell people, Abraham Lincoln didn't make it the first time. Ronald Reagan didn't make it the first time. Andy Vidak didn't make it the first time. Danny Gilmore didn't make it the first time. I can do it this time. And that's why I want to say thank you. Thank you so much. Because through your donation, your financial contribution is going to give us the resources to finish this battle in 2 weeks. We have high name ID. We have a lot of grassroots support from farmers, from key people in the community. I may not have the big name, but I tell you one thing, and I know that I was mentioning early to Dr. Fred. To Fred, I was sharing with him that, you know what? I'll be honest with you. This morning, I got up at 4:30 in the morning, and at 5 o'clock, I left the house towards California Hot Springs. It's beyond California Hot Springs. It's called Ponderosa. And over there's this rock called Dome Rock. And I went there and I said, God, give me the wisdom. And please help me as I carry on through this journey. Because it does get nasty at times. Very nasty. And that's why I thank you. I ask for your prayers. I ask for your support. I ask that you talk to your neighbors, to the people that you know. And I tell you what, give me that opportunity, and I will be faithful. I will work very hard to represent the interest of this valley, just like Assemblywoman Shannon Grove does. So thank you so much, and God bless this beautiful country of ours, the United States of America.